Okay. Get yourself situated there. And if you want a blanket for child's pose, you can do that too. But since we will be here for a little bit, maybe make it a nice wide kneed child's pose so that like belly and ribs and chest can all just kind of rest easy between the inner thighs. And then however you want to manage your arms, overhead or arms down by the sides, maybe head turned to the side. If you have your head turned to the side, I'll cue you to turn it the other direction here shortly. But as always, it's just starting to settle in. Kind of noticing if your big toes touch, maybe give them a little wiggle. Notice the compression on your knees, if that's sustainable for you, or if you need a blanket under your knees or between calves and thighs. Notice the compression in the hips, how your belly and ribs sag down toward the mat. Letting everything rest heavily. And maybe noticing a lengthening in the spine. And start to draw the breath into the ribs and watch how they expand out to the sides. Maybe ribs and belly now pressing into the inner thighs. And then on the exhale, how heavy the torso can get, how long the spine can get. There's even maybe, feels like a little bit of extension in the spine. Just staying long enough and breathing big enough to have the inhale and exhale feel pretty different from one another, and notice how each one feels even different from the one before it. Maybe you get just a little bit heavier. Maybe your feet have gone numb. If you have your head turned to the side, turn it the other direction. It might not feel as comfortable on your neck. So maybe prop it in a way that does. And notice what's shifted or changed during this child's pose. I started with my chest off of the mat. And now it's fully resting on the mat. Take a couple more of those nice, big, deep, full breaths. And come up just enough to walk hands over to the left of the mat and stack the right hand on top of the left. Bring the elbows and the chest back down. Notice the stretch maybe up underneath your shoulder blades, under your armpits, maybe particularly in the right side, maybe from your elbow down toward your right hip. Inhale, lift up just enough to walk it all the way across to let your left hand stack onto your right on the right side of the mat and sink back down. Noticing the difference between left and right sides. The length from your left shoulder to your left hip. What's happening in the space between your shoulder blades? Is it kind of, I don't know, tensing and balling up, or can you find some softness? Walk back into the middle, and just for a couple breaths, send your arms down by your sides, palms facing up, so back of the hands on the mat. And let that space between your shoulder blades release if it was kind of tense. And just one more breath. And bring your hands underneath your shoulders and grab your blocks on the highest height. And we'll stay on the highest height. Just hands on the blocks and maybe noticing the relief flooding into your knees just by getting off of them, even though they're still bent. And then we'll really dig into that place between the shoulders. So pressing into the heels of the hands, drag the chin toward the chest and really round the spine from shoulder to shoulder. So having that cat back be up in the thoracic spine and the tail really tucked under. And then bring the ribs down, the heart forward, the chin up, the tail up. Big inhale. And exhale, round, really emphasizing that space between the shoulder blades. And inhale, belly down, chin up. And we'll walk the blocks forward a little bit. Step your right foot to the outside of your blocks. Exhale, hips forward. Inhale, hips back, toes lift in this sort of half Hanuman. Exhale, forward. Inhale back. And then come back to hands and knees. Switch side. Left foot steps to the outside of the left block. Sink down into your low lunge. Exhale, back, toes up, legs straighter. Forward into your lunge. Back into a half split. And back onto hands and knees. Slide your blocks all the way up to the very top of the mat. And you can keep your hands on. Just step forward into a forward fold. So hands on the blocks, legs straight for the first time here. Maybe you want to go a little deeper, maybe not just hands on the blocks, but more toward kind of forearms on the blocks. Either way, let your head hang. Notice when you release those muscles in the back of the neck, what happens to the muscles in the back of the legs. All connected here. And even maybe drag your chin toward your chest and see what changes in the back body. Rock back into your heels toward the ball of the foot. Just kind of back and forth. And then when you're in your heels here, tip the hips left to right. And it may not be a big movement at all. like just this tiny sway, maybe like an inch to the left and an inch to the right. But it might feel pretty big. Come back into the center. If you had your forearms on the block, bring your hands to the blocks. Leave your left hand down, left knee bends a whole bunch, right fingertips reach up. Flip your palm, slide your hand behind your back, eye gaze up toward the ceiling. And then right arm comes up. Exhale, right hand down, switch sides. Right knee bends, left fingertips up to the sky. Tuck your left hand behind your back. Anywhere it lands is where it ought to be. Left fingertips up. Hand down, both legs straight, straighter. Still keeping a little bend in the knee. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sweep your arms out to the side. Inhale all the way up into standing. And hands to heart center. Hi, Martha.
Hi. Sorry I'm late.
You're okay. We just got up. So, inhale, lift up. Exhale, soft knees, long spine. Exhale, hands to the block, chin to the chest. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Reverse your swan dive again. Inhale all the way up. This time interlace fingers. Index finger pointing up. And instead of looking up at that space between your hands or up toward your hands, look forward. So keep your chin level for this. Take a big inhale breath. Reach that steeple, those fingertips straight up to the ceiling. Exhale, fingertips over to the right. Maybe you notice a big lean into the right foot. Shift your hips to the left so that you can feel that weight, the weight of your body even on both feet. Draw your belly in just a little bit. So we're not kind of hanging out in this lateral flexion in the low back, but the belly and low back support this flexion. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to the left. And then same deal, shift your weight into both feet. Support this whole lever with the belly and the low back working together. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release the hands, elbows back, cactus the arms. Inhale up. Exhale, soft knees, forward fold. All the way down, maybe tucking the chin. Unless that feels weird, if there's kind of a zippiness that happens anywhere on either side of the spine or in the neck or down the backs of the legs, skip that chin dip. Inhale, halfway. Right fingertips to the sky, left knee big bend. Tuck the right hand behind. Inhale, fingertips up. Exhale, right hand down, right knee bends, left fingertips up. Flip the palm, back of the hand, anywhere it lands on the back. Inhale up. Exhale down, back into that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back to your tabletop. We'll keep these blocks high still. And 2 cats and cows. big press in the hands, using that height advantage to really get into the upper back. Belly down, chin up, inhale. Exhale, round. Inhale, ribs down, tailbone up. Come back into neutral. You can slide your blocks off of the mat. Come back into child's pose, a nice wide knees child's pose. And then again, let's bring arms down by the sides and maybe roll the wrists a little bit. Make fists, open and close the hands, wiggle the fingers. Move them all around for a little bit. And then be still. 2 full breaths here. And rise up. Walk your hands to tabletop. And then bend the elbows, pranam pose, knees, heart, and chin. Slide the belly down into your cobra. Exhale, lower the chest, lower the chin. So 5 cobras from here. Any height that you wish, any speed that you wish. Inhaling on the way up. Exhaling on the way down. So you choose how much to push into your hands, if at all. If you want your low back to do all the work, or if you want the arms to be a little bit involved. Yogi's choice there. Just breathing on the way up. Breathing in, and then exhaling on the way down. And then exhale, lower down, come into Makrasana. So fold the arms, let the forehead rest on the back of the hand. Maybe wiggle hips a little side to side. Or if you need to call in reinforcements by bending the knees and rocking the heels side to side, that might feel good. If your feet were up, just let them fall down. Bring your chin back to center. Kind of let your face hover right over your mat. Send both arms out to the side, palms facing down, but chest lifting up. So not this this Spider-Man cobra, but like a T. You're in a T, but the chest is lifted just a little bit. Press into both feet. Probably just one foot will come into play here, but lift the right arm, palm facing down. So I can't really tell too much if it's helpful to push into my feet or not, but push into both feet just to get a little bit more engagement in the whole line of the back body. Exhale the right arm down. Inhale, left arm up. And it probably isn't going to go real far. But then again, kind of experiment with pressing into the feet, firming the thighs, lifting the kneecaps, firming the belly. See what changes to the back body when you engage the front body. Exhale the left hand down. And then we will lift both arms at the same time. So first, firm the belly, press into the feet, then float the arms. Maybe, if you're into it, lift the chest a little bit higher. One full breath. And then take a cheek to the mat, arms down by the sides, backs of the hands on the mat. Let all that work just kind of dissipate. Come up onto your elbows and slide your right arm across to the left, and then we'll keep the chest, just resting the chest right down. So we're not coming into a twist. We're literally just laying on the arm to get into that space that we just focused on. Maybe it wants a little bit of stretch. You can kind of tent your left hand and rest your forehead on your wrist. If laying your head all the way down is just too intense, find one full breath. Press back up onto your elbows, switch sides, slide your left arm under. And then lower your chest down toward the mat. Maybe resting the head on the right wrist. And the closer you get to like bringing your head down or bringing your right shoulder down, the more intense it's going to be. So if you kind of roll up toward the left, like if you lift your right shoulder, it'll be less intense. So up to you how you want to do that, but breathing under the left shoulder blade. Come back up onto your elbows. Lift the chest, lift the hips, come all the way back into child's pose. Arms configured however you want, 3 full breaths. Come back up onto hands and knees so that we can make our way to seated. And that long, slow roll down, as controlled as is possible. One vertebra at a time, rolling down. And maybe arms out to a T here for a second, and then straighten the legs if they were still working to get you down. 2 full breaths, just splayed out here on the floor. And slide your heels in, cross your right leg over your left, and then decide whether you want to stay here in a figure 4, either just resting right here, pulling the legs in, or if you want to just let legs fall over to the left, keeping that left foot on the ground so it's not this giant, huge twist, but maybe a little more subtle. None of these twists, anything in a figure 4 is not subtle for me. but a couple breaths. And come back up into center if you twisted, or just bring the feet down if you were in a figure four. Cross your left leg over. Decide whether you want to pull in or twist, and do that. Breathing into wherever it is that you feel the most sensation. One more breath. Back to where you started, feet down. Pull your knees into your chest. Give them a squeeze. Maybe circle. Maybe legs up the wall for a second. Or for the whole rest of your lay down. If you have a wall nearby and you want to pop feet up against the wall, that might be awesome. And then legs down or legs up the wall. Let the back of your hands rest on the mat. Let your eyes close. Nice, big, full, deep, wide, slow breaths. One more breath right where you are. And roll to your side. And make your way up to seated. Nice. Inhale up together. Pull hands into heart center. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace,